Hey guys, thanks for stopping by Gregsbeerreviews today. Yeah, the old clock says it's 5 o'clock. Beer 30. Let's go see what's in the fridge today.
Hello everybody, welcome to Gregsbeerreviews. Today, look at this beautiful corked and caged bottle. This is Stone Brewing Xocoveza Charred. And what it is a Mocha Stout aged in 3 months in American oak Kentucky bourbon barrels. It was brewed in 2015 and I guess it was bottled in 2016. This is batch number 3 and it says 2016 series batch number 3. Stone Xocoveza Mocha Stout, ale brewed with cocoa, coffee, and spices and aged in bourbon barrels. 9.6% ABV, alcohol by volume, and unfiltered and aged, it says 6 months in American oak Kentucky bourbon barrels. IBUs are 31 on this. So we've got the year 2016, we've got the ABV of 9.6, and we got the IBUs of 31. So all the information you need there. This was sent to me by my friend James. He sent me a couple beers to do. This is the second one, the last one. So James, thanks a bunch, my friend. I do appreciate it, sir. This beer has a long commercial description, and bear with me because I am going to read it, and I'll do it as quickly as I can, guys. Brewed August 17th of 2015, this base beer is a recipe of a 2014 Stone Homebrew Competition winner, Chris Banker. An intensely flavorful milk stout, which means it's been brewed with lactose, with cocoa, coffee, spices, and mimic the rich flavors of Mexican hot chocolate. In the mash is U.S. Pale, Maris Otter Pale, Crystal, Black Patent, Coffee Malt, and Chocolate Malt. In the bowl, the hops for Challenger and East Kent Goldings. Special ingredients for lactose, flaked oats, coffee, vanilla, pasilla, peppers, nutmeg, cinnamon, and cocoa. And here it says it was aged 3 months in American oak Kentucky bourbon barrels. Seller notes time spent in bourbon barrels gave an already complex beer even more complexity and flavor intensity. Layering additional caramel-like and vanilla flavors on top of those already present. Aromas of rich coffee and dark chocolate are followed by nutmeg and cinnamon. A lush, heavy mouthfeel laden with charred oak and toffee engulfs the palate on the first sip. Lingering pasilla pepper and soft oak flavors persist through an exceptionally long finish in this intensely rich and satisfying beer. And they say the release date was December 14th of 2015. So, but they've got 2016 on the bottle. This is batch number 3, so they've evidently done it 3 times up until this one was done. So I don't know how many times they've done it since then. So James, once again, thanks for sending me this beautiful bottle, corked and caged. I'm sure it's not a cheap bottle to buy. So once again, thank you, sir. We've gone over everything we need to, so it's time to get this cork and cage off of this thing. So let me do that. These corked bottles sometimes scare me a little bit. You never know what's going to happen. And sometimes I can't even get the cork out. I have to get a pair of pliers. And that may be the case on this one. I finally got it to move. All right, I believe we're gonna get this one out without the pliers. All right, here we go, guys. Listen for the pop. Very nice pop. Not too big, not too little, just enough. So let's get this into the glass. I think this is a 500 milliliter bottle. We're going to go right down the center. And looks like it poured a fairly nice head on that. Of course, it's only a 9%, not like you're doing a 12 or 14%er. A little over a finger of head on that. Nice khaki colored head. Over into the light, guys. I'm not seeing any. It's pitch black. Looks really good in the glass. To the nose we go. I am getting the roasted malt. A little hint of some bittersweet chocolate and coffee. I'm not getting any of the nutmeg or cinnamon or anything like that on the nose, but it's cold right out of the fridge. Those aromas and tastes may come out once I sip it and let it come up to room temperature. Smells very nice. Might be a hint of some molasses in there. Not getting a lot of bourbon notes on the nose, guys. A little disappointed on that. Maybe we'll get it on the taste. So let's find out. Cheers, everybody. Cheers, James. Very tasty. Not a whole lot of vanilla or cinnamon on it. Just a little bit. It's very subdued. Maybe a slight hint of some cinnamon in there. I'm really disappointed on the bourbon notes that I'm getting on this. They are almost non-existent, guys. They did not leave the beer in the barrels long enough, in my humble, honest opinion. If you're paying for a bottle of beer that it says on there that it's been aged in bourbon barrels, you want to be able to taste that and smell that. But maybe they didn't want that overpowering the beer, but for what this beer probably costs, I don't know what James paid for it. You want to get those notes because you're paying a premium price for something that's set in barrels for however many months that they decide to do that. And some breweries, like I said, 3 months, 6 months, some do a year, some even do longer than that. I've seen some that's been in the barrels for 22 to 24 months. And that makes the beer cost more because that beer is sitting in those barrels in the corner of the brewery, taking up space. And so when they finally decide it's where they want it, they bottle it, and of course that adds cost to it for it to sit there that long and take up space and all that. So when I see that and it's written on the bottle, Stone usually does some pretty impressive stuff. This one is a little lackluster in the bourbon notes. So I don't think they're going to come out anymore as it warms up, but that's what we're going to do. We're going to sip on this and pour her what's left in the bottle, and we'll see what I think of it when we come back for the final chug. Alright guys, I'm back. I've been sipping on about 45 minutes. Hadn't left hardly any lacing on the glass. I'm a little disappointed in that. The bourbon notes are basically non-existent. I'm definitely disappointed in that. This beer is not worth what James paid for it. I do think it's a well-made beer other than the bourbon notes. They didn't leave it in the bourbon barrels long enough, guys. I'm not sure they used first-run bourbon barrels. Maybe it had beer in it before, which kind of leads to me to think that I've had beers that's been in bourbon barrels for 3 months that had more bourbon notes than this. Nice roasted malt. Alcohol is very well hidden, but I'm not getting a whole lot of cinnamon or nutmeg or anything like that. It doesn't have that big sweet lactose taste usually that those beers have. I can just say I'm disappointed with this beer because of the lacking notes for a bourbon barrel beer, and from Stone on top of that, and not getting the spices that they've used. I'm not getting the cinnamon or nutmeg. Maybe just a little bit of the cocoa or the bittersweet chocolate. It's a well-made beer other than those notes there. I'm just not getting it. Maybe that's what they were after, nothing to be overpowering anything else. And if that's the case, yeah. But if you're paying for a bourbon barrel aged beer, you want to taste those notes, and this one is lacking entirely of that. I'm not getting none, nada bourbon notes on this beer. So James, this is probably not one, if you're after the bourbon notes, tasting a little bit of bourbon or smelling a little bit of that bourbon, you're not getting it on this beer. So it is a little disappointing. This is definitely not a 10 beer, and as far as I'm concerned, it's not even a 9 beer. So let's do the final chug on this one. I do think it's a well-made beer, guys. It's very smooth and very easy drinking. Maybe just a slight, ever so slight, subtle hint of maybe some nutmeg or cinnamon in there. But absolutely zero bourbon notes on this beer. So A- for me, guys. I'm going to give it a 90. That's where it falls into my category. Over to Beer Advocate, and Beer Advocate says 4.24. That's a little more impressive than what I would give it. That's probably borderline between their A- and A beer. I think it's an A- beer. And over to Untapped. Untapped has it at 4.24 also they're borderline between an A- and an A beer. It's definitely an A- beer to me. I want to taste those bourbon notes. If you're paying a premium price for a bourbon barrel aged beer, you want to taste those notes. I do. Just me. I want to taste that, especially if I'm paying, I don't know what this beer costs, but if you're paying between $12 and $15 or more for a bourbon barrel aged beer, you want to taste those notes, and this one is lacking it entirely. So I think personally, I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt, giving them a 90, which is just barely into the A-. Could just as easily give it a B+. But it is a easy drinking, 9.5%. It has 9.6 on Untapped. So just a hair over. That's what it has on the bottle. Just a hair over 9.5. Not quite to the 10 category in ABV or in my rating anyway. A-, 90, just barely into the A- category. So we've got everybody's grade, mine, Beer Advocate, and Untapped. If you've had this one, let me know what you think. Maybe the bourbon notes were a little more impressive when it was fresh in the bottle in 2016. Here in 2019, not there. They're not there. And as far as any coffee notes, it's so subtle you can't tell it. So James, thanks again, my brother. I do appreciate you sending this to me, but I think this beer could be a lot better. I've had better, and it's a shame that guys like you and everybody else that have bought this beer probably not getting the quality that they should be from Stone Brewing, because those guys know how to brew a beer. Greg Cook over there at Stone Brewery, he's a friend of mine, and they call him the Beer Jesus, and they call me the Beer Moses. They can do better than this, so I think they kind of dropped the ball on this one just a hair. So with that being said, if you've had the Xocoveza Charred, let me know what you think, guys. Until we meet again, let's go see what's in the fridge.